Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Priyamena Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Have a good time?
Hare.
Yeah. You found something?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Oh, good.
Hare
Good.
Hare,
And you could walk her everywhere.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotee.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotee.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotee.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Hari Hari.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Yato yato yamitato narsingho. Ahir narsingho hridaye narsingho. Narasimhamadim saranam prapadye. Navakara kamalavare Nakamadbhuta Srinam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Navakara kamalavare Nakamadbhuta Srinam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Jagadish Hare. Jaya Narsingadev, 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 Jaya Narsingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Narahari, 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 Jaya Narahari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to everyone, all the devotees, both on Zoom, YouTube, and the devotees that have come here to the temple. I'm hoping you're having a wonderful Sunday, a very warm Sunday out there. And with every Sunday, we come closer and closer to opening up the temple back again. So hopefully that'll be coming very soon, where we don't have to interact so much online like this, but we'll be able to actually chant and have class, in person. I think in the next coming weeks, we're going to start seeing some movement in that direction. We want to welcome Ram Charan Prabhu, who will be speaking to us tonight on Bhagavad-Gita. We're in the middle of the study of the third chapter, entitled Karma Yoga. And we've been going through it very systematically, trying to pick up different themes so that we can really learn and understand what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Ram Charan Prabhu, he is a disciple of His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj. Ram Charan Prabhu serves on the ISKCON of Philadelphia Board of Directors, and he does quite a lot of preaching. I believe every night he's doing some type of Srimad Bhagavatam lecture and class that he gives. So it's very encouraging that he's so regularly hearing and speaking about Krishna Katha. So before we turn it over to him, we're going to do a quick darshan of Srila Prabhupada, and tonight we're just going to have darshan of Lord Jagannath. Around. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. So if you've been following the announcements either on the classes or in the newsletter, you've seen that Lord Jagannath is giving his darshan today. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki.
Jai.
And we have with them Shri Nisringadev Bhagavan ki.
Jai.
Tulsi Maharani ki.
Jai.
Shri Guru Parampara ki.
Jai.
Now, Shri Shri Gornitai and Shri Shri Radheshwar Bihari, they are not giving us their darshan today. They'll give us their darshan on Tuesday for Lord Nisringadev's appearance day. They underwent some maintenance, some painting, and that has to fully cure and dry before they can be dressed and presented. So today we have darshan of the beautiful Lord Jagannath, and we can fixate our minds on them. Beautiful turbans, beautiful garlands that match the outfits, the blue and the flowers. Thank you to all the devotees that served him so nicely. Okay, so at this time, Ram Charan Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I'll hand it over to you.
Sure, bro. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dronachar Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes. Sorry,
Okay.
I thought we were RCD. Ram
Sure. Thank you. That's what I was asking. Sorry. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. So let me share the screen. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
All right. So thank you very much all for joining today's Sunday Feast program. As Dronachar Prabhu mentioned that within a couple of days, we are going to celebrate very auspicious day, Sri Nrsimha Chaturdashi. Lord Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai.
Jai.
So, like today, as Prabhu mentioned, that we are basically doing a topic from Bhagavad-Gita. Like we are doing chapter number 3, Karma Yoga. So before we start, let's chant prayers. Jai Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha गिरिवरधारी यशोधानंदन ब्रज
Vipin Shishtasena
यशोधनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जया राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जया राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी जया गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जया गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोधानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचार यमुना तीरावनचारी जया राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जया राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जया प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जया प्रभुपाद जया गुरुदेव जया गुरुदेव जया गुरुदेव जया गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवर्जकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज शील गुरुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवर्जकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शील प्रपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिलादास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन धाम की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All devotees to the all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga और Shri Guru Maharaj की जय। Hare Krishna. So today's topic is Lord Krishna's secret weapon, and today we are going to read from Bhagavad-Gita, chapter number 3, text number 13. So we'll start with that. So we'll start first by offering our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, and we're going to read a quote from Srila Prabhupada regarding this verse. For 313, Srila Prabhupada wrote this. So let's read that. Here Srila Prabhupada gives the essence, the summary of, or what you call like the conclusion of this this particular section in Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada writes here, the Supreme Lord, who is known as Yajna Purusha, or the personal beneficiary of all sacrifices, is the master of all the demigods, who serve him as the different limbs of the body serve the whole. Demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna are appointed officers who manage material affairs. The Vedas direct sacrifices to satisfy these demigods so that they may be pleased to supply air, light, and water sufficiently to produce food grains. When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods, who are the different limbs of the Lord, are also automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. For this reason, the devotees of the Lord who are in Krishna consciousness offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually. By such action, not only are the past sinful reactions in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all contamination of material nature. So there are various points Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the quote here. That first is that Lord is a Yajna Purusha. We are going to discuss about that. And he's a beneficiary of all sacrifices. That's another point Srila Prabhupada mentioned. The third one is mentioned, Srila Prabhupada says, like master of all demigods. All the demigods are different parts of Lord Krishna's universal body. Like Indra, Chandra, Varun, they are the appointed officers. We'll discuss that. Then Vedas recommends like or directs sacrifices to satisfy these demigods as they supply air, light, water to produce the food grains. So, but also Srila Prabhupada mentioned that when Lord Krishna is worshipped, all these demigods are automatically worshipped. So there is no separate need to worship those demigods. That's another point Srila Prabhupada mentioned. So we'll discuss that also. So, and finally Srila Prabhupada said that there is, for devotees in Krishna consciousness, there is no need to worship demigods. Rather, by offering food to Krishna, which when you offer bhoga to Krishna, that becomes a prasadam. And by honoring that prasadam, that is sufficient for us to nourish our body spiritually. And with that, we will basically not even like stop the cycle of karma, but also we get free from all past sinful reaction. And our body will become immunized for all contamination of the material nature. So in these few words, Srila Prabhupada summarizes the talk that we are going to discuss today. So here is a verse for today. So let's recite. Yajna Sishtashina. Okay, sorry, I forgot. But first we need to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, now. Yajna Sishtashina Santo Muchyante Sarkil Vishai. Bhunjate tvetvagam papa ye pachante atmakarana yajna sishtashina santo muchyante sarvakil vishai bhunjate tetvagam papa ye pachanti atmakarana yajna sishtashina santo muchyante sarvakil vishai Bhunyate tvetvagam papa ye pachantyatma karana. Any devotee would like to recite?
यज्ञाशिष्टासिना सन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषै भुञ्जाते ते त्व अघं पापा ये पचन्ति आत्मकारणात्. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
यज्ञशिष्टाशिना शान्त मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषै भुञ्जन्ते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to say? Okay, so let's read on. So let me read the word by word translation. Okay, I think I should share it. Hold on. Let me share the screen where we have word for word translation. Okay. So here, synonyms: yagya sishtha, of food taken after performance of yagya; ashina, eaters; santaha, the devotees; muchyante, get relief; sarva, all kinds of; kilbishai, from sins; bhunjate, enjoy; te, they; tu, but; agham, grievous sins; papa, sinners; ye, who; pachanti, prepare food; atma karanat, for sense enjoyment. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The devotees of the Supreme Lord, or the persons who are in Krishna consciousness, are called Santas, and they are always in love with the Lord, as it is described in Brahma Samhita 5.38. Premanjana churitaha bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hrideshu vilokayanti. The santas, being always in the compact of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, the giver of all pleasures, or Mukunda, the giver of liberation, or Krishna, the all attractive person, cannot accept anything without first offering it to Supreme Person. Therefore, such devotees always perform yagyas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, etc. And these performances of yagyas keep them always aloof from all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. Others who prepare food for self or sense gratification are not only thieves, but also the eaters of all kinds of sins. How can a person be happy if he is both thief and sinful? It is not possible. Therefore, in order for people to become happy in all respects, they must be taught to perform the easy process of Sankirtan Yajna in full Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there can be no peace or happiness in the world. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshavaya Om Ajnanatimiradasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadikamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sacham He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhaischa Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityanand Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakti Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So again, one more time the verse. Let me share the presentation again. Yagya Sishtashina Santo Muchyante Sarvkil Vishahi Bhunjante Te Tuham Papa Ye Pachanti Atma Karana. So here The translation one more time. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Otherwise, who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment, verily it only sin. So even in purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned some of the important point is that he's mentioning that people who are in Krishna consciousness, they are called devotees or santas. And in Brahma Samhita, it is mentioned that, as Prabhupada quoted, that Premanya Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadev Hridayeshu Vilokiyanti Yamashama Sundaramachinta Gunaswarupam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. So the devotees are always in compact of love with Supreme Personality of Godhead. They do not accept anything without first offering to Krishna. So that is basically what is the meaning of yajna is. So we're going to see that. So here, if we move forward, so in the next we'll see in Bhagavad-Gita, 2nd chapter, which we concluded before. In Bhagavad-Gita 2.49, Lord Krishna says, Durena hiya avaram karma, Durena hiya avaram karma, Buddhi yoga dhananjaya, Buddhau shranam anvichya, Kripana falhetava. So in that verse, Lord Krishna is explaining Nishkam Karma Yoga. And in that he's saying that, oh Dhananjaya, or which is basically the Krishna consciousness, keep all abominable activity far distant by devotional service. Means by practicing Krishna consciousness, you can free from all abominable activities. Means keep yourself away from sinful activities. Because the devotees in Krishna consciousness, they are not engaging sinful activities. As you know, like we basically follow the 4 devotee principle: no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. Or basically we are free from those sinful activities. So here Krishna is saying, you by performing devotional service, you keep all the abominable activity far away by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender to the Lord. Those who want to enjoy fruits of their work are misers. Means the people who are trying to enjoy whatever they are working and they are enjoying their fruit, they are mentioned as miser. So now here, this verse is connecting to like chapter 3. So like in the beginning of the chapter 3, when Krishna tells this to Arjuna that you keep all the abominable activity far distant by Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness. So Arjuna think like that Buddhi means intelligence. Intelligence means like he has to use his own intelligence and avoid all abominable activity and does not fight. He think that, oh, fighting is basically killing is also like a sinful activity. Why should I be engaged there? So he think that like, okay, then if jnana or knowledge is the main important thing, then I should give up everything as an activity and then take the process of jnana. But Krishna is still urging Arjuna to fight. So in the beginning, Arjuna asked this question to clarify this contradictory instruction that what is good, whether jnana is good or working is good. So according to Arjuna, like here in the beginning of chapter 3, renunciation and work are incompatible. He'd see 2 different paths. He's not seeing that same path. He's seeing 2 different paths. He's saying which paths to follow. So that was the beginning of this chapter, Karma Yoga, or chapter 3 in Bhagavad-Gita, which basically brings to that point is like, which is the better path? Is renunciation or working like activity? What kind of like the karma? What is the best path here? So here, so I'm just summarizing the few sections of Karma Yoga before we come to our part. So from text number 1 to text number 2, in the initial beginning, Arjuna asked if it is better to be situated in knowledge or to work, as two were opposed to each other. So he's seeing that knowledge and activity are 2 different paths. So he's getting confused over there. So he's asking Krishna to clarify the confusion. So after that, Krishna start talking from verse number 3 and to verse number 9. Krishna explained Nishkam Karma Yoga. Nishkam Karma Yoga means do not renounce all the result of your activities and dedicate it to Krishna. So here I'm just giving summary, like you can read, like I think we are already gone through that previous sessions. So work combined with knowledge and detachment. So Krishna is recommending that Arjuna, you should work. Without work, it's not possible to even sustain your body. So you should work, and that work should be combined with knowledge and detachment. Means you should work with full knowledge, and then you detach the result of your activities. Offer the fruit of your work for the satisfaction of Krishna. Do not enjoy yourself, but offer to Krishna. And Nishkam Karma Yoga also allows soul to be purified by detached activity. Means when we give up the result of our karma and we come to that consciousness, then we make progress. We become purified by performing those activities. So these are the two sections of Karma Yoga, Bhakti, like in this chapter 3. So now we are going to come to the part where we are dealing. So from text number 10 to text number 16, in this section, if somebody who cannot work in Nishkam Karma Yoga, if somebody anyone who cannot work in Nishkam Karma Yoga, so what is the path for that? So here, Krishna is recommending that, okay, so if you cannot perform Nishkam Karma Yoga, then you basically do activity what is offered in Vedas, which is basically offering sacrifices. So in the verse number 10, Krishna explains that in the beginning of the creation, Lord of all creatures sent forth generation of man and demigods, along with sacrifice for Vishnu. So and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." So this is what mentioned in the verse number 10. Means here Krishna is saying that in the beginning of the creation, like man and demigod, everyone got created at the time of creation, and along with that, sacrifice also given for Vishnu. The sacrifice has to perform for Vishnu, and Krishna says that you performing by sacrifice, you will get what is desirable for you, and you will live happily here, and eventually you will get liberation, because it's a very slow process. It's purifying, but very slow purifying. So in the next verse 3.11, Krishna says that the demigods being pleased by sacrifice. So when we perform Vedic sacrifice, in that we perform sacrifice for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu, and with that, in that sacrifice, demigod gets their share. We'll discuss that later also. So demigod get their share, and with that they will become happy. And when they become pleased, so they will provide you necessity of the life, right? So Krishna is saying by cooperation between man and demigod, prosperity will reign for all. Means there will be a lot of facility will be available that demigod will give, and human being will perform sacrifice, and that will satisfy the Lord Vishnu and the demigods, and then with that everything will be prosper in this world. So this is like a process. And then in the verse number 12, Krishna says that in charge of various necessity of life, the demigods, being satisfied by performance of yajna, will supply all necessity to you. But he who enjoys such gift without offering them to demigod, in return is certainly a thief. So here, Krishna is saying that whatever we get, like we are talking about people who are believe in karma kanda. So for them, they have to offer their share to the demigod by performing yajna. If they will not perform yajna, then they are called as a thief. Krishna is saying that without offering demigod is called as a thief. Now in the so in 3.13, as we see that Krishna says the devotee of the Lord. So now the devotee who are performing devotional service, they are released from all kind of sins, because they eat food which is first offered for sacrifice. And other who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment, they eat sin. So now in order to let's try to understand who are demigods. So if we see Krishna saying that demigod will provide you necessity of your life. So who are demigods? Demigods are nothing but they are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are living entities like all of us. They are coming to the category of living entity, but they are empowered. They're empowered means they have special powers that is given to them by Krishna, and with that special power, they maintain this material universe. different section of material universe. And so that's why it's also there. They are the different parts of the universal body of Supreme Lord. So in Bhagavad-Gita, Lord shows in the 11th chapter, when Arjuna asked to see, requested Lord to show the universal form, then Lord shows that universal form to Arjuna and told Arjuna that whatever you want to see in this world, you see in my body. Everything, whatever you have desired, just see in my body, because everything was present in the body of Lord Krishna at that time. All demigods, everything, thousands of hands, mouth, everything was there. So the demigods were all nothing but they are part of the universal body of Lord Krishna. And they are like as in a government, like we have different officers, different ministers, different directors, and they are different departments heads who maintain like the rain, water, fire, like finance, defense, the different departments they maintain. Similarly, in this universal government, in this universal management of government, these demigods are different officers and directors, and they are appointed by Krishna. It's not that like you can actually you go ahead and then take the position by some voting, like they're like in a democracy, you people vote for you and you can become head of the state, right? Or you become ministers, right? But in the universal management, they are all appointed by Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 8th canto, there are it's mentioned of different Manus. In one day of Brahma, 14 Manu comes. And Manu is basically the time period for the government. So when there is a Manu ruling on this planet, at that time there is a set of people who are running the government. And then when the Manu change, there are different set of people who come and rule the world. And then similarly like that. So in one day of Brahma, the government changed 14 times. Here we see in US, like we have every 4-year government change, right? So in the universal management, government change every manvantara, or every time period of Manu. So they are different officers and directors, like in the Supreme Lord's government, and they have no independence. Means they work as given by Krishna. They are not independent in their work. It's not that like Krishna is supremely independent. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, as is mentioned that Krishna is Swarat in the first verse, Janamadiyasya to anvad itaracharteshva bigya Swarat. Krishna is supremely independent, but demigods, they are come under the control of Krishna. They work as Krishna guides them. Krishna gives them the job, and accordingly they work. So they are not independent in doing anything. So they are basically work as given by Krishna. So what are the functions of demigod? What they do? They supply air, light, water, and all other benedictions for maintenance of body and soul for the living entities here. In the sense that they are originally given by Krishna. These before that, like before the creation of this universe, before the creation of this material world, nobody was there. Only Narayan was there. And from Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayan, all the ingredients produced, like earth, fire, air, ether, water, everything came from Lord Narayan. And then these demigods, when they get created by Lord Brahma, through the Lord Brahma, all these demigods to take birth in this material world. So these demigods, they become in charge of the different department, and then they maintain. So they supply air, light, water, and all other things. And they get their share of food. How they get these demigods, like as we eat food to nourish our body, similarly demigod, they also get some nourishment and some food, and they get through the yajna. And when living entities perform here yajna for Vishnu, then via Lord Vishnu, they all demigod get their share. So that's why their pleasure and displeasure are dependent upon the performance of yajna by human being. So if human beings perform yajna, they become happy, and then they will do their work like honestly. But if they become unhappy, there might be some kind of problems that they can give, because anyway they have some power, not the ultimate power, but they have some power to a certain extent. So they create some adi devic problems, sometimes we see like there is a lot of rain, lot of heat, like that. Those kind of things are basically like little bit of that is managed by demigods. And the result of that, but one thing we need to understand that is that the result which we achieved by demigods benediction are perishable. Why they are perishable? Because within this material world and these planets, the demigod, their worshipper and their benediction, they are all perishable. So demigod, they are not permanent. As I say, demigod is like a post. They are acquired by living entity like you and me. Like they acquire the post and they rule for certain point of time, and then they fall down or they progress, depend upon that, they move out from there, right? So that is perishable. They are not permanent. And second thing is that their worshipper, the people who are worshipping demigod also, they are also not permanent, because the demigods cannot award liberation. As I mentioned that the demigods have no independence. So they do not award liberation. The maximum they can award is material benefit, which is temporary. Yeah. So they are all perishable. So their result is perishable, the worshipper is perishable, and even demigods are perishable. So from that perspective, like the demigod worship is not recommended by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita. Krishna says that only less intelligent people go to demigod for getting the benefit, because they do not understand that the benefit were given by Krishna. If you see in the picture, Krishna is behind. Krishna is the actual source of all the things. The demigods are basically just the agents. So here, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned in in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned 4th canto, chapter number 31, and the text number 14, that how the Krishna is source of everything. As pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, simply worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfy the demigod who are parts of that Supreme Personality. So as I say, like demigods are nothing but different part of the body. So they are not the bhokta, they are not the enjoyer. The real enjoyer is Krishna. Like as if we want, like if you have a plant and we want to nourish the plant with the water, so we generally water the root of the plant rather than watering each limbs, each branches and twigs, or each flower. We should basically just put the water in the root, and the whole body, whole tree will get nourished. All the branches, twigs, they don't necessarily need to be given separate water. Only giving to the root will satisfy. Similarly, when we eat food, if we put the food in our stomach, just food putting in the stomach will satisfy all our limbs and parts of the body. Means like all our hands and legs, they will become nourished by just putting food to the body, to the stomach. Because they are not the bhokta, they are not the enjoyer. You cannot put food to your hand or your eyes or your nose or ear. These senses will get strength when we put when the stomach take the food and digest. So Krishna is the root of everything. Therefore, rendering service to Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna Seva means automatically serving all the demigods. This is like Krishna is. So what is yajna? This is also mentioned here. Is yajna means Lord Vishnu, or sacrificial performances. So the all sacrificial performance is also meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. So whatever the yajna that mentioned in Vedas, they are actually done for a satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The performer might not be available, might not be knowledgeable enough to see that, oh, we are basically performing for Lord Vishnu. They might be performing for Indra, they might be performing someone else. But in reality, yajna means Lord Vishnu, and yajna has to perform for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu only. The Vedas enjoin, yajno vahi Vishnu. In other words, same purpose is served when one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serve Lord Vishnu. So whether you directly serve Lord Vishnu or whether you perform yajna, they are both same thing, because ultimate purpose is to satisfy Lord Vishnu. That's why Krishna consciousness is there for performance of yajna. This Krishna consciousness, this Hare Krishna movement is basically a performance of yajna as per the Vedas, as it is prescribed in this age. And the Varnashram institution, which is mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that the purpose of Varnashram Dharma is also aim at satisfying Lord Vishnu. Varnashram Dharma, like is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, is all the duties, prescribed duty a person perform is basically for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. Otherwise, it's a useless labor. So now, let's see what is the importance of yajna. So here, like we just touched that topic in the previous slide also. Here also, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any work done in this material world will be cause of bondage. For both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reactions binds the performer. So if you perform any activity, any kind of activity, whether it's good or bad or mixed, all of them produce result. And that result will be pious activity or a sinful activity. It's a good karma or bad karma, but ultimately they will bind you into the material world. But when we perform yajna, it frees us from the material world because we are doing the yajna for the satisfaction of Vishnu. So that's why, like it's mentioned, therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. And while performing such activity, one is in liberated state. So when we are in Krishna consciousness, we are free from karma. We are not binding with any type of activities because we are doing all our activities for the satisfaction of Lord Krishna. So some other benefits of yajna is mentioned, like Srila Prabhupada mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita, that by performance of yajnas, all our activities become purified, as it is stated in Vedas. Ahar shuddhau sattva shuddhi, sattva shuddhau dhruva smrati, smrati labdhe sarva granthinam vipramoksha. By performance of yajna, one's eatable becomes sanctified. Means when we offer our food to Krishna, the food will become sanctified. And by eating sanctified food stuff, one's very existence become purified. One's very existence become purified. And by purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. Means our intelligence become very, very nice and our memory become completely clean. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of path of liberation. Means bhakti, pure devotional service. And all this combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of the present day society. This Srila Prabhupada is saying that when we perform yajnas, like by this Krishna conscious movement, then ultimately it will basically lead us to the back to Godhead, and we will basically get delivered from this material world by following the process of Krishna consciousness. And Bhagavad-Gita, like Lord Krishna also, this is another things mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita 5.29. Bhoktaram Jagannath Sarvalok Maheshwaram Suhardam Sarvbhutanam Gyatvam Shantim Richati. So Lord Krishna is a beneficiary of all human activities. A person, this 5.29 says that a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifice and austerity, and the supreme Lord of all planets. So there are three things here. Bhoktaram Yagnatapsam. So Lord Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. Means all the sacrifices that we are doing, has to be performed for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. This first line is basically related to this sacrifice. And then there are two more lines are there where Krishna is saying that Sarvalok Maheshwaram. He is the supreme Lord of all planets and demigods. So we just discussed about demigods. So Lord Krishna is the supreme Lord. Demigods are all part and parcel of Krishna. They are servant of Krishna. They are all servant of Krishna. So Supreme Lord is he is the Supreme Lord. Krishna is the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigod. And also Suhardam Sarvbhutanam. He is a real benefactor and well-wisher of all living entity. So one who knows these three things. First one is Bhoktaram Yagnatapsam. Means he's the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices, Lord Krishna. Sarvalok Maheshwaram. He is the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods. And Suhardam Sarvbhutanam. He is a benefactor and well-wisher of all living entity. That person will attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Means that person gets a peace. This Srila Prabhupada mentioned this verse also in the peace formula, which is well known, in Krishna conscious in the Hare Krishna society. So there's another quote for Srila Prabhupada, Krishna is the source of everything. So here Srila Prabhupada says that by supplying food to stomach, the senses are automatically satisfied. If one tries to feed his eyes or ears independently, the result is only heaven. Simply by supplying food to the stomach, we satisfy all of the senses. It's neither necessary nor feasible to render separate service to individual senses. So we already discussed that part. It's just repetition. The conclusion is that by serving Krishna Seva, everything is complete. As confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter number 22, text number 62. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. If one is engaged in devotional service of the Lord, if one is engaged in a devotional service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is automatic and accomplished. Means by serving Krishna, everything is done. We are basically satisfying all the demigod, all the living entity. Everyone will become satisfied and there will be peace and prosperity. So this is the ultimate purpose of Krishna is the source of everything. Now in Bhagavad-Gita also, in the later part, Lord Krishna says that, like in 9th chapter, which is which is a very important chapter, which basically talks about the most confidential knowledge. Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitra Vidam Uttamam. So in that, Lord Krishna explained the part in 9.27, offering everything to Krishna. He's saying that Yat Karoshi Yadashnasi, Yat Jujosi Dasi, Yat Tapasi Konteya, Tat Kurushat Madarapan. So whatever you do, means whatever activity we are doing, and whatever you eat, whatever we are basically cooking and eating, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerity you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. This Krishna is mentioning that, and let's see what is Krishna is saying. Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, give everything to Krishna. Here, Srila mentioned that it is a duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstances. Means we have to remember Krishna all the time. There's a principle given in Vedas that always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And even in Krishna says later in this chapter, Man manaba mad bhakto madhyaji mamnoshku. So always remember me, always think about me. And even Sukdev Goswami mentioned answer to the question to Parishit Maharaj, Etavan Sankhyogyabham Swadharma Parinishtiya Janmalabha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. So we need to make sure that we remember Krishna. We should not forget to Krishna in any circumstance. So everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together. And Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Means we have to work for Krishna. In that means we have to remember Krishna in all our activities. Everyone has to eat something for living, like for live. Therefore, he should accept remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna. And then another, in the later Srila Prabhupada said that any civilized man has to perform some religious, ritualistic ceremonies. Like people who are very religious, they perform a lot of religious activities. Like they perform different vratas, different kind of, like they go visit holy dhams, they do charity, so many activities they do. So all those activities, ritualistic performances, like it has to be performed for Krishna. Therefore, Krishna recommend, do it for me. And this is called Archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Here we see in US, a lot of people give a lot of charity. Different charitable organizations are there. Some is like doing some kind of this activity or other activity. So people give charity. But here Krishna is saying that when you're giving charity, give it to me. Give it to me, because through me, everyone will get satisfied. And this means that all surplus money, so whatever money you have extra, whatever, stimulus check you are getting, or whatever refunds you are getting, all the surplus money that we are getting, that should be utilized in the Krishna conscious movement. So we have to use all our surplus money. Here Prabhupada says that whatever necessity for you, you can use it for yourself. Means we have to maintain our family, we have to maintain our house, we have to maintain our relatives, our parents and all this. Yes, you can use those, but anything which is extra you have, that should be used for in the Krishna service. That should be used for in the Krishna service. And then also, like when we are offering to Krishna, how to offer Krishna? In Krishna, in the previous verse, Krishna says that Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prachati Tadham Bhaktam Upratam Ashnami Priyatatmana. Krishna saying that if someone offer me with love and devotion a leaf, a fruit, a flower or water, I'll accept it. So the main content is offering with love and devotion. So further, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada say that by preparing nice and simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture or deity of Lord Krishna, bowing down and praying for him to accept such an humble offering, enable one to advance steadily in life and to purify the body and to create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. So Srila Prabhupada says that three things here. By offering food to Krishna, we will basically steadily advance in our life. we purify our body, and will create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. And above all, the offering should be made with attitude of love. That is very important, that we should offer out of love. Because Krishna has no need of food. Krishna is Atmaram. Krishna is fully satisfied. Krishna is self-satisfied. Krishna doesn't need anything from us. So Krishna has no need of food, since he has already possessed everything that be. Yet he'll accept the offering of one who desire to please him in that way. If somebody offer Krishna with love and devotion, Krishna will accept it, even though he don't need it. He takes the offering of the love given by his devotees. The important element in preparation is serving, and his offering is to the act of love for Krishna. That is the important point Srila Prabhupada mentioned that we should do when we offer food to Krishna. So what is the benefit of prasadam? Like when we offer food to Krishna and when we honor, what is the benefit? Srila Prabhupada says that when there is an epidemic disease, and an antiseptic vaccine protects a man from the attack of such an epidemic. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently resistant to material affection. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. So devotee means who is called every day offering food to Krishna and honoring prasadam only prasadam only. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness who eats only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reaction of past material infections, which are impediment to the process of self-realization. So, what are the impediments? Impediments are our sinful reactions. What are sin? What are past sinful reactions that we have done? All the bad karma that we have performed. So, in order to counteract that, we always honor the food offered to Krishna, which is prasadam. This material world is full of contamination. And one who is immunized by accepting prasadam of the Lord, food offered to Vishnu, is saved from the attack. Whereas one who does not do so becomes subjected to contamination. So, in order to keep us free from sinful reaction, to free us from this material contamination, the best thing is every day offer nice food stuff with love and devotion to Krishna and honor it. By offering first offer with Krishna, and then you can take that prasadam, and then you will be free from all contamination. So, and then there is another process, yajna, like especially because we are in this age of Kali Yuga. So, what is the best process of yajna? Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. So, I'm coming to that point. I put one or two slides for that also. This aim of life is attained by the performance of yajna. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agent of Lord for sense gratification, and become more and more entangled in material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves, and therefore we are punished by the laws of material nature. So as that previously we discussed about the yajna. So like if we don't offer the food to demigod, then we'll become like thieves. That's what mentioned here. So a society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajnas. Now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, who appeared just 500 years ago, he inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna for this age of Kali Yuga, namely Sankirtan yajna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accept the principle of Krishna consciousness. And in the next slide here, Srila Prabhupada brought this Sankirtan yajna to the Western world. In 1965, Srila Prabhupada boarded the Jaladuta from Kolkata and came to United States for the propagation of this Sankirtan Yajna especially. So this is a very nice picture, Srila Prabhupada dancing on Rath Yatra. So in this age of Kali, Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord God, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is recommended by the Vedic scriptures. And this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. So this Sankirtan Yajna and Krishna consciousness go well together. So in reality, in essence, I'm concluding myself. Now time is up now. So I'm just on the last slide. So what are the Lord Krishna's two secret weapons, which what we discussed today? One is chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Means like by the Sankirtan Yajna, which is recommended for this age of Kali Yuga. There are 4 yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga, the process was meditation. In Dwapar Yuga, like in Treta Yuga, the process was big sacrifices, which is very difficult to perform in Kali Yuga. And in Dwapar Yuga, it was mentioned to perform heavy, very heavy, opulent deity worship in the big temple format, right? But in Kali Yuga, just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra or congregational chanting of holy name of the Lord, that is the recommended yajna for this age of Kali Yuga. And with that yajna, when we offer food to Krishna with love and devotion, and after that we take that and this become prasadam, and honoring that prasadam, these two things are basically always keeps us, all of us, free from metal contamination, and we will make very fast progress in Krishna consciousness, and ultimately we will go back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. So I'll now stop here. So let's thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, let me know. We can take that. Or if any comments, please let me know.
Thank you, Ramcharan Prabhu, for that complete and very thorough presentation. Let's ask the devotees out there. Anybody have any questions? All those that are on YouTube, unfortunately, you can't ask the questions, so it's just to the Zoom audience. You can raise your hand or virtually type something in the chat. Let's pause for a second to see. His Grace Ravinda Shri Prabhu used to say, he says, if there's no questions, that means everything has been understood nicely. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll make a couple announcements, and then at the end we can circle back if anybody thinks of anything in that time. First and foremost, we want to thank His Grace Ramcharan Prabhu for speaking to us tonight, and very nice PowerPoint presentation that you gave us. We got a comment from Tejas Sharma. He said, thank you very much, very enlightening. Coming up this week, we have a couple things noteworthy that we want to mention to everyone. Starting with tomorrow. Monday at 7 o'clock, we have a Istagosti town hall meeting. Istagosti is a term used for a gathering of devotees. We will be joined at this Istagosti by His Grace Anuttama Prabhu, our GBC, as well as the regional secretary, Jai Krishna Prabhu, our temple president, Balabhadra Prabhu. And we'll be talking about, opportunities at ISKCON Philadelphia. Not only do we want to hear from you, but we want, as we're starting to come out of this post-COVID phase, we have an opportunity to kind of take a look at some areas of growth. And so we want this to be a night of sharing of opportunities of how we can build community, as well as spread the Krishna consciousness movement. So 7 o'clock on the same YouTube channel. Then Tuesday, we were going to be celebrating the appearance day of Nrsimhadev Bhagavan. Shri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. So Lord Nrsimhadev is the half man, half lion form, incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, that manifested in order to protect his devotee, 5-year-old devotee, Sri Prahlad. Beautiful, beautiful story, Leela, very instructive. And it's the emblem of the Lord's reciprocation with his pure devotees. That night we're going to be celebrating. So it's devotees. We honor this day by fasting until dusk, and then also we have a program that's going to consist of lots of hearing and chanting. So we have Harinam Sankirtan. And in the mood of Sri Prahlad, who actually prayed when Lord Nrsimhadev asked Prahlad Maharaj for a benediction. And he says, my Lord, I am not a merchant. I don't worship you simply just to get something in return. And Sri Prahlad Maharaj, he suffered so much, and the Lord really wanted to reciprocate. Your faith and dedication and your trust in me was unwavering. So many times you could have just broken your faith and gone with your father, but yet you stayed with it. he wanted to give him something. And then in the end, he prayed. He said, what I want is the deliverance of my father. I want the deliverance of the whole world. And in the same mood of that, we want to go out on Harinam Sankirtan, to take the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and broadcast it for the pleasure of Shri Prahlad Maharaj, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Srila Prabhupada, and the assembly of devotees. We're going to offer this sacrifice. So please join us. 5:30 to 6:30, we'll assemble at the temple, and we're going to go in the temple neighborhood. We have very, very wonderful neighborhood, very nice neighbors. They like us very much, and I think they'll be very pleased to hear the chanting. We'll go up and down Germantown Avenue. We did this also on Ram Nomi, and the weather wasn't as favorable as it will be tomorrow. And we got a very nice response from that. So please join us. And then after that, we'll have the regular program at the temple, Arti, Kirtan, we'll have a discourse, we'll have a drama, and then we're going to have a nice, very special Nishinga Arti up until 8:18, which is the time of dusk when Lord Nishingadev appeared. So please join us. The program will be broadcast virtually over YouTube. Now that will also be the day that Shri Shri Radhashard Bihari and Shri Shri Gornitai will give us their darshan after a week of being off the altar for maintenance and painting. So I think you're going to really want to see this very special darshan. So please come by. The temple will be open starting at 5:30 on Tuesday. We want to invite all the devotees to our weekly programs, daily programs that we have, starting at 7:50 in the morning. We have Srimad Bhagavatam class, a very wonderful way to start your day with the association of devotees and filling our consciousness with transcendental knowledge. And when we do that, the rest of the day, everything is placed into perspective. We all go through trials and tribulations. We gain something, we lose something, good things happen, bad things happen. And we can really get thrown off, even though we have, we reflect back on the philosophy. But this daily hearing and chanting solidifies the foundation of Krishna consciousness. So when these things happen, we're not really so disturbed and our focus can remain on Krishna. So we ask you to please join us. We have a very nice Sangha that gathers every morning. So we're always looking to increase and expand our Sangha. We would love to have you there. 7:50 a.m. on this Zoom channel. In the evening, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have a Bhagavad-Gita. We call it the Bhagavad-Gita Happy Hour. We read Bhagavad-Gita together for about 20 minutes and then discuss. Nothing too overwhelming. Everybody can find a little time to unwind during the day and refresh themselves with the Bhagavad-Gita. This week, our family business reading will be postponed until the following week. It's a Tuesday night. And I'm sorry, somebody's screaming. I'm getting. Tuesday night, it'll be postponed 1 week for Nishingadev's appearance day. And then Thursday night, we have our shloka reading, and then also our Srila Prabhupada Leela night, starting at 6:45, and then it goes to 8 o'clock. So if you want to learn how to chant these shlokas, English, Sanskrit, the word for word translation, proper pronunciation, join us at 6:40 and then on Thursday, and then learn about Srila Prabhupada's pastimes at 7 o'clock. To conclude tonight, we want to offer our prayers and good wishes and to the Sunday feast sponsor. Tonight's Sunday feast sponsor was Pratik and Dira. And Pratik recently lost his mother, Sharadi Ben Hasmukhal Duvar. She left her body about a week and a half ago. And we asked the community of devotees to please pray for her departed soul, and also to offer our blessings and prayers to the grieving family. If you'll join me I want to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times for her benefit. And please join me now. If you like, you can take yourself off of mute. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare, Hare Krishna.
Again, we pray for her a swift journey to Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Tonight we'll have kirtan also, something that we're going to be starting on the lawn outside. So if you come take darshan of Lord Jagannath will be giving darshan. Shishivara Sharbi Hari and Gornitai will not be. But if you come to see Lord Jagannath, you can stop by and join us and sit outside for kirtan. Hare Krishna, everyone. I'll just ask one last time. Any questions for Ram Charan Prabhu before we conclude?
It's a nice class, Prabhu. Thank you very much. A lot of information you gave us. Thank you very much, Ramcharan.
Sure. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Everyone,
Mataji.
have a very wonderful evening. And we hope
Thank
to
you
see
very
you
much.
all very soon.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. Panchakopa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu v'evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Namaha.